This module will give you a brief overview of the challenges inherent in the continuously evolving landscape of industrial cybersecurity, with specific emphasis on protection of areas like OT, IoT, the Industrial Internet of Things or IIoT, the convergence of OT and IT, and industrial control systems or ICS. Anyone coming into the OT world from IT may well have a reaction of, what on earth is going on here? Because the OT cybersecurity landscape is completely different to IT. So different, in fact, that security risks are not just present on the OT side, they are the norm. In corporate IT, you're not dealing with potentially life-threatening processes, such as the OT-controlled physical processes that happen on a factory floor and which may involve heavy machinery moving at high speeds. In IT, system availability is important, but it's not always critical if systems go down because they can always be brought back online. OT is usually real-time critical. It often involves real-time processes that are synchronized to within tenths or hundredths of a second. And for the same reason, process interruptions usually have serious upstream effects, with a stoppage on one part of a line stopping every other process that happens before it. Typically, in the IT world, if a single device goes wrong, there are usually limited knock-on effects because a single computer or single part of a network is usually assigned to one person. In OT, there are many cases where one operator has responsibility for hundreds or thousands of devices, meaning that if a large portion of that operator's portfolio goes wrong, their workload increases exponentially. In IT, common operating systems are used, Windows and Linux predominantly. In OT, operating systems are usually proprietary to each manufacturer. Legislation may be much tighter in parts of the OT world. In context of IT, the same safety and compliance regulations apply across many different industries, so they are understood by many more people. Also, OT wasn't formulated with security in mind, and the protocols used in it are generally not secure. This is where solutions like CTD and SRA come into their own, because they provide the visibility, threat mitigation, and secure access that are typically lacking. The OT world can be a difficult one to navigate if all you've ever known before is IT, and this is the gap that Claroty products were built to bridge. It's an accepted fact that traditional IT security tools have very little use against cybersecurity threats that target OT, IoT, and ICS assets. In particular, OT evolved from an approach that prioritized operational capability over security. That left a large number of gaps in the resulting infrastructure that were waiting to be exploited. In the business sector, most organizations are still in an awareness phase for OT and IoT security. That level of awareness has to expand faster. The number and sophistication of attack vectors is increasing, and solutions that can slow their progress have only just started to emerge in the last few years. Security and risk management leaders urgently need to update the threat management strategies that are currently in place. As I mentioned, the way OT evolved left it open to exploitation. There are a number of clear and present threats. The most important ones are seen in this slide. Unlike IT, traditional OT features no real segmentation methods to contain and compartmentalize portions of an operational network. Almost no formalized security protocols have been introduced for the OT industry to follow. Unsecured and unsupported legacy devices number in the millions. Very few formal containment and counter strategies exist to deal with real-time cyber incidents. And, most important, too few OT personnel are aware of the threats and are trained in cybersecurity principles and measures. The connectivity of optimization, productivity, and monitoring devices within IoT and IIoT continues to increase on a scale the human race has never seen before. The technological research and consulting firm Gartner Incorporated estimates that, at the current rate, around 1 million industrial-level devices are being added to the Internet every hour. This creates levels of risk beyond what is considered the norm for OT, as IoT starts to become part of the overall industrial solution set and the industrial sector's overall threat surface continues to grow. From a cybersecurity perspective, all connected devices within an operational environment are considered to be OT-IT convergence risks. This is because of the risk of spillover attacks. These originally target an entity's IT operations, but, whether by accident or opportunity, end up inflicting damage on the OT operations side. We've come to the end of our presentation. Thank you for your time.